do it this way, but we got to do it. And you already know the medical campus and its behavior as it relates to the work that the Buffalo Black Billions Initiative has already had underway and is trying to continue. And welcome, hey, can we all get along? And can we work together? And we're hoping that the board of the campus over there will come out to the community meeting. I mean, it's a sign of respect to show up, and it's important to be there because there's some real things to talk about. They ain't never been talking to nobody. It'd be a good time now. You could talk to the people from the Buffalo, the Black Buffalo Billions, and all of y'all can talk with the community. But anyway, that's all I want to say. I'm gonna be nice, but we don't need to be too nice because it seems like people don't respect us sometimes. But I know I'm just we being nice, we being stern. That's being nice. So I'm shutting up. Austin, take it away.
Tim, it's good to have you back. No, we definitely good to have you back. Haven't seen you for a couple of weeks, returning with the Buffalo Black Billion to talk more. And I think it's important what you're talking about. I know when I first came on the show, I used to ask myself, I would say, why are we doing repeat shows? But then what happens is when we don't talk about it, and the things happen behind closed doors and now we're suffering, then everybody wants to throw their hands up and throw a fit. So I just want to say, please, if you're listening for March 8th, stop playing catch up. I'm tired of playing catch up. I'm pretty young, and I've seen a lot of times in this city, whether it's 33 plans, whether it's Buffalo Black, we're always playing catch up. We're always on defense, and I wish for once that we could be proactive, that we could beat this before it happens, and really, not really beat, but can we address this issue before it becomes bigger, right? Can we stop making mountains out of molehills by just seeing things for what they are and solving issues when they're solvable? Because at a certain point, now we wait too long and it grows to a monster. And so I just think if you've heard this conversation before, then that means you know it and you should be talking about it. If you haven't heard the conversation, tune in, because how we fight for one thing in Buffalo is how we fight for everything. I know we got some important things to fight for. So just like you said, I'm going to hop out the way and hop straight into the interview because I know we have important stuff to either hear, listen, dates to hear, because this is an important event that we need to be at to make sure change is made. True that. So to hop straight into it, I know we're returning, but for the viewers who aren't aware, could you guys give your name and maybe just a little bit of how you're doing today before we hop into the questions?
You can pull it to you.
Well, this is Elder William Covington. I'm an advisor to the Buffalo Black Billion, an elder at St. John Baptist Church. And I'm doing fine today. Thanks for asking.
Good morning. I'm Elder Mary Ruth Capsiak. I'm an educational consultant for Buffalo Black Billion, former educator in Buffalo Public Schools. And I'm delighted to be here today. I'm well, and I hope all is well with our community.
Good morning. I'm Michael Norwood. I am a trustee, business consultant, and a spokesperson for the Buffalo Black Billion. I'm blessed to be here and honored.
Great. And I know we got three. It's going to be another one joining us. And we also got Mother Martin. Let me call her Mother Martin. She going to say something to me later, right? Look, we got a crew in here that I wouldn't look so lovely out there on Facebook page if it wasn't for what we had, the crew we have here. Anyway, that's true that. And like I said, we'll have another one join us. It's an important conversation. And as Austin said, we're going to shut up, but I'll kick something out to you. What's the state of things now? You heard anything from the board of the medical campus?
Well, we've heard indirectly. There have been some communications, and we have been running 30-second ads on this station and also on WBLK, calling into question the business practices of the Buffalo Niagara Medical Campus that result in a racist outcome.
Yeah.
And it's been getting to from what we understand, it has made some people on that board, or at least the director of that agency, the Buffalo Niagara Medical Campus, upset. So that means that their ears are being pricked and that they're listening, and that we're hopeful that they come on Friday so we can deepen the conversation and make some progress.
I hear you on that. And the mic's all yours. I hear a phone ringing too. It may not be up. Good.
Just to recap, the Buffalo Niagara Medical Campus has blatantly obstructed the development of affordable housing in the impoverished Fruit Belt neighborhood. Their actions not only perpetuate inequality, but also betray the very essence of community responsibility. The Fruit Belt, a low-income and predominantly minority neighborhood, has long suffered from neglect and disinvestment. Residents endure dilapidated housing, insufficient resources, and a perpetual struggle to make ends meet. Now, our St. John Fruit Belt CDC and BFC partners, they were granted permission to build 220 affordable housing and workforce housing units on property that they own, and next to the Buffalo Niagara Medical Campus. And despite the City Buffalo Planning Board repeatedly voting in favor of the project, it remains stalled because of multiple lawsuits filed by the Buffalo Niagara Medical Campus.
Wow.
Buffalo Niagara Medical Campus has actively prevented the construction of affordable housing in the Fruit Belt community. It's an outrage. This is a glaring manifestation of institutionalized and discrimination, and a testament to the prioritization of profit over people. Profit over people. Buffalo has been dubbed the third poorest city in the nation. Affordable housing is a major priority in the governor's 2024 budget, and legislator April Baskin has just sponsored in Erie County an Affordable Housing Act. Some of the questions that we have for the Buffalo Niagara Medical Campus: how is their board of directors allowing their CEO, who is not from the Fruit Belt or East Buffalo, to say what's best for our community? How can you come from someplace else and tell us what's best for our community? And that's what he's doing. He's a staff person, an employee. What is his board doing? Can we see their minutes?
I think that for me, as a young person on the outside looking in, you said it makes people upset, but I personally, I'm young, so I can say I don't really care if it makes people upset.
That's right.
Right? It really doesn't matter to me. What I'm mostly concerned about is, what are you going to do when you are upset? Are you going to shell up? Do you want to not throw blows and knock everybody down? Or do you want to show just how committed you are to helping the community of Buffalo, and show out, and do even more, so that these arguments don't have to be on the table. People don't have to raise these concerns. That's what I look at. Like I said, it's not about if it upsets you. A lot of things upset me, but it's about what do I do in result of them. And so what I would like to see on the Buffalo Niagara Medical Campus is, get upset, get mad, and show us just how angry you are that people don't believe how committed you are to the community, and do something to show us that you truly care, the community that serves and pays for you, that allows you to operate the way that you do. Show me that you care. Show me just how upset you are. Because for me, when I get upset, I don't get upset and I want to tear. No, I get upset and I want to do better. So do better. And like I said, being upset, if that's a part of it, then that's just what it happens to be. We were just joined by a new guest, so I want to give you a chance to state your name and say how you're doing today, and then we can hop you into the questions as well.
Yep. Good morning, everyone. My name is Shakura Zachary. I am hoster. Okay.
No, just
Oh, pull it. You can pull it to you.
Is that okay? Okay. I am one of the corporate counsel for the Buffalo Black Billion, and I'm here today with the leadership just in this conversation today. I'm doing well. Thanks, guys, for having me.
Hey, glad to have you. You know, I knew, I kind of knew even before hearing you talk about how they've been behaving, that's usually the stance that they take. That they wasn't gonna really show a good faith of it, because they didn't have to wait till Friday to show a really good faith effort. And so the message to us community is, as we hear about how disrespectful, that's what I'm gonna call it, they've been, and how conniving when you look at what they've been doing in our community, look, you got to come out at the Merriweather on the 8th. That's this Friday, 3:00. We need to start showing up. But we don't need to be selling wolf tickets. We don't need to be talking about we together. We ain't together unless we show up together. And that's one of the things that these bullies, these corporate thugs, think they can do to our community. They think we split. They think they can come in. They'll find some ones who would do some wrong bidding for them. And you're gonna be hearing calling some names on some other show, because some other behavior have gone down by those who's supposed to represent us that don't do nothing. If they do something, they want to do the stuff that community groups should do. They don't do nothing to legislate to protect our interests, to make sure that there's no rotten regulations that allow these kind of dirty things going on. It's been happening all over the countries in communities of color. It's a fact. We're not immune. And don't think all this suddenly caring about the East Side is about us. It ain't about us. It's about them figuring out how to make more money. And look, I want you to be clear about money changers. Not only are they buying up our land, they're buying up apartments that are already occupied and then upping the rent on tenants who already live there. We don't know we under attack. Look, let's show up Friday. That's March 8th at 3:00. Let's show folks, no, this is not a joke. And if you don't know what to do, come and stand. Come and stand and learn more about this issue, because this is just an example of things they've been doing and will continue to do unless we stand up. I'm going to ask the members of the Buffalo Black Billions to talk about some of the programming that could have been jumped off already if you didn't have the shenanigans. And I can say it in City Hall, because you shouldn't have none of this trouble over all this time. In community, we know it. This is not a tennis match. Don't sit and watch. Look, the weather breaking cold. You know what that means. It's just good weather for you to show up. And maybe another time we're talking about showing out, but that's not in this part of the count. You just got to show up this time, because they're showing out on us. They don't even respect us enough to respond clearly. And we're going to see if they respect the community enough and show up Friday. And some of y'all that's on that board and know somebody on that board, it'd be a good time to call them and tell them that, ain't mad, but really mad and saddened that y'all think this stuff is going to go down in this time. No. I'm sorry, y'all, but.
And Jim, I'm glad you brought that up, because what it is doing is impeding on the progress of our young people. We have programs in place for our youth that are students ages 8 to 12, young adults 13 to 18, and adults 18 and over. And this project was designed so that the students will be able to know the importance of healthy eating. It's a garden project that's already in existence and need to be expanded. It's located at Gethsemane Baptist Church, and our own First Lady, Minister Ina Chapman, was in with the Cornell University as far as getting this started for the young people. And they've grown fresh fruits and vegetables last year. They disseminate these throughout the neighborhood. And it also helps our children know the importance and value what is good for their bodies, their mind, and their soul. This is not something that will take away from students. It enhances the progress and the education of our students. So why would you stand in the way of students being able to be successful?
Yeah.
It's, the entrepreneurship part of this comes into play. So let's get real with what is going on in our community and help our students succeed.
Just to connect that whole thought that Elder Kapsiak just laid out to the issue that we have with the Buffalo Niagara Medical Campus. The plan for McCarley 2 is a 220 unit housing, a building with 220 units of affordable housing. But it's also how many thousands of square feet of retail space on the ground floor?
20.
Is it 20,000?
20,000.
So when we're talking about a program that helps young people develop entrepreneurial skills and learn how to start and run small businesses, we're talking about creating the space for them to move into to actually operate that small business in a market that has 15,000 people come to work every day on the medical campus, and not to mention the fruit belt itself. So they're obstructing the development of a plan that might not be started at the medical campus, but will start in the fruit belt and will be expanded and realized on the medical campus. So it doesn't make any sense just for a moment on the board of the Buffalo Niagara Medical Campus. There's some real powerful people on the board. It's almost hard to believe that they would have a problem with this development that's good for the community, that the campus itself really needs to create some housing for some of the workforce on the campus. And there's a lot of lower paid workforce on the medical campus that could use access to affordable housing. But what sense does it make to continue to obstruct the development of this building, this McCarley Phase 2? And the board, it's hard to believe that they really know what their director and CEO is up to, Mr. Enstice. So we're challenging the board to come out and address the needs of the community here on this coming Friday's forum. And we'll see.
And let me add just to that we're the only African-American institution with a major investment in the medical corridor, a major investment. In terms of our short and long range goals, this is all a part of our $600 million, 1,500 new affordable housing units that we have planned for 2024. We've made an announcement here just recently to have minority contractors to come out, get their OSHA certifications together, get their insurance profiles together. 1,500 new affordable housing units. And if you take the 400 that we presently have, we're talking about 2,000 affordable housing units in the fruit belt, in our fruit belt community. This is a time when affordable housing is at its zenith. And if anything, the Buffalo Niagara Medical Campus should be working with us to help provide that. There was an article that just came out recently in the Buffalo News that said, listen, I can't believe that this is happening. The medical campus should be working with St. John Fruit Belt CDC to provide these units. What's going on?
Hey, this is like a movie. This is, you're seeing it in the movie where the good sense that the board members know, and having don't act right away, and they have somebody who they done place as the CEO or whatever, and they make these decisions, and they get mean spirited when you try and call it to their attention, and they get more vicious. And unfortunately, I hope this is not a board that act helpless, because look, community, you look possible folks who we're gonna have to show out on. I'm serious. If you adults want to go, I know a lot of young people who be glad go down, and we take a walk down where the offices of the medical campus is, and do like they say, shut it down. Now don't that it ain't nothing that ain't nothing bad. That means do stuff, make it hard for them to continue to do business as usual. Jim said that. Now the guest didn't say that. Jim Anderson said that. Have your attorney call me. But here, I mean, we're in those kind of moments. Here we are looking at what is a snapshot of what, when they talk about Black Wall Street, that's how Black Wall Street started. In the community, figuring out ways to build up together and doing it on their own. Didn't need the outside to control it. That's what they're mad at. Will you get $1 billion? Who are you to be planning to make this community healthy and the money keep circulating in it? Well, we got to stop that, master. Anyway.
Well, I was just going to touch on what Trustee Norwood was saying in regard to from the top of government in New York State right now, from Governor Kathy Hochul down to our local level, there's been this cry for affordable housing. So what we find hard to believe, and what we're hoping on Friday we're able to discuss with the Buffalo Niagara Medical Campus, is why they are impeding the development of something that the community absolutely needs. Some of you just have to wonder, this isn't land that is owned by, we're not asking for the Buffalo Niagara Medical Campus to give us any land. We're not asking them for anything. This is land that the organization already owns. So why are we having to ask permission by these authorities? I mean, it's almost like this Godfather position. Nothing goes down in the fruit belt without me saying so. It's like, what is that about? Like, this is the property that belongs to an organization that is doing its due diligence to help improve and enhance the condition of our community. Why would everyone not be behind this, rallying for this? Right. So it's caught up in litigation, right? And if you look at the paperwork, it's all public record. You can see what the filings are. It's arbitrary. I mean, these are frivolous at best. If you look at
trying to steal the lamp. We got a call for you. Calling you on the air. Can you start it again, please?
We don't need to be asking questions about what are they doing. Why are they obstructing development from our community? We have the answers. They're doing it. They're not talking about it. They're doing it. They have their lawyers, and they're just taking action. And so we need to do the same thing. We need to be a lot more proactive about it in our expression of our outrage, and just go ahead and not talk about it, because they're not. They're doing it. They're taking action. And we need to do the same thing. Take some action. If it's our land, then we need to show them that it's our land and not wait. Okay, show them and that this is our land, and take action on doing what is necessary and beneficial to us as a community for what belongs to us.
You got it.
Then we need to show them that it belongs to us.
And that's what March 8th is about. That's a community action step where we have all the parties at the table and talking out, in the beginning of working out something that'll work for all of us. That's where it begins. Now, if they don't show up, that says something else to us. And that's why I'm saying we may have to make a house call. They doctors, the doctor location. So we're going to make a house call if they don't show up. Now, that's not to say it'll be made Friday. Who knows? It might be. And not everybody have to do it. But there's some people who agitate and help create and save community and with a different flavor, all in the appropriate way. So I mean, we're gonna have to do what we have to do to get the blockage out of the way. And see, you know, a lot of that history that people have seen a path, and soon it won't be but a few more weeks. We'll be jumping at April 4th. And people will be wanting to talk about the man, but the question is, can you do like the man did when he was walking around and what he was standing up for? We're gonna stand up. This is something to stand up on. They done okey-doked us on the stadium, but on this ain't their money. And the leaders on this, they can see well, and they got a good plan. They just need the garbage to get out of the way. Anyway. That's me, y'all. That ain't them saying that. They say the nice words.
This is in court.
We're going to go to a commercial break. We'll be right back. I just didn't want you to get started. I have to cut you off in the middle.
I'm gonna be nice.
No, this is real.
Just smile and smoke. And asthma is not constrained anywhere, anytime.
So dog is man. That's
So
Clearly,
we're
it's worse than
doing.
being in the South.
Yeah.
How many years ago?
see.
And here we are supposed to be progressive.
And,
Yeah.
and whose land is it?
Right.
What they
Sharecropping us.
also need to know is that what we're proposing is to exchange our land with the city.
See,
And if
right.
there's a difference in the square footage,
Right.
we'll pay, our St. John Fruit Belt CDC will pay up to $1 million.
Yeah, you ain't rhyming up.
So you're sitting over here looking at what we're doing, saying that it's going to obstruct what you're doing. And we're saying you don't bring anything to the table. This is ours.
And really, if you want to help a community rather than trying to take our property, show us what you like to see. It's probably already in our
You
game
didn't
plan.
have anything to say about our brothers, our Caucasian brothers, a 16th of a mile on Best Street there with all they're doing. McGuire, Palladino, and Alexander. You didn't have any problem with them. But you got
Dig it.
Let me ask one question before we
We're
get
back
started.
onto the air in the conversation with Jim Anderson Show, joined by the Buffalo Black Billion. If you want to join the conversation before we hop back into the talk, you can call in at 716-837-1112. Call in soon before it gets too late, because those last minute calls, I don't want to cut you off. I want to let you explain your point. So call in early while you got them in here to ask some questions and figure out how you can get involved to make this progression happen and make these changes happen in Buffalo. But back to what we were talking about for the break. I know you were about to expound on a point, Mr. Norwood.
The St. John Fruit Belt CDC proposes, just so everybody understands, to exchange our land with the city of Buffalo land. And if there's any difference in the square footage, the St. John Fruit Belt CDC will pay the difference, up to $1 million. We're proposing to exchange that. This is our land. So Buffalo Niagara Medical Campus doesn't bring anything to the table. This is between us and the city, and you have a problem with us doing that. And in terms of what the caller just called in to say, this is in court. It's being litigated. This is the third lawsuit that they've had. We were given permission to begin with to build this 6 to 8 story, 220 unit affordable housing workforce development. And so the Buffalo Planning Board gave us 2 negative declarations, which says that in order to build this unit, it would not obstruct anything. It's not going to bring debris or anything else. It's residential in residential areas, not pharmaceutical. So we've been given the permission and it's been favorable, and still it's tied up. We should hear word shortly because it's in court. We should be hearing what the judge has to say with regard to this.
Thank you, Trustee Norwood. What I would like to say or ask a question. What is the difference in what is happening right here in the Fruit Belt community than what happened years ago in the South? It's like you're taking the land that we own and you want to do what you want to do with it instead of our educating our young people, because the young people are our future. We are depending on them. That's the reason we have this program going. They are exposed to things like chess, boating, table tennis, to name just a few. So this is just outrage. I'm outraged at the thought that I am sitting here, a person from the South, and I'm encountering the same things that happen in the South.
Yeah. And I'm really gonna charge it to the people. I believe this. I never will get mad at anybody for putting themselves first, right? You wouldn't get mad at Austin leaving here saying, "Oh, what does Austin want to do his day?" Right? And on the vice versa, then you kind of have to push yourself first. And in this city that I'm in, like we're not surprised by anything that's happening. Right? This isn't a surprise. It's unfortunate, but it's not a surprise, right? Happened in politics. It's happening with the 33 plan. I'll never forget the day I was going to school. I went to school in Canisius, Buffalo, and I was thinking to myself, I'm like, why is the highway so busy going to Buffalo in the morning? It's so busy going back to Orchard Park at night. Shouldn't it be both? Because the highway not for us. So this isn't a surprise, right? This isn't a surprise. And so again, I'm not surprised at what's happening. I'm charging it to the people. You need to get up and put yourself first, because we're expecting people who have never put you first to make a change today. If they won't listen to $1 billion, they're not going to listen to you. God forbid, you got to go get some answers from them. So what are we doing? Right? Can we put ourselves first? Because like I said, we wouldn't get mad at anybody else for doing it, and they're doing it, and they've been doing it. They're going to continue doing it. And if you're not fighting the bully, you're helping the bully. So get up and fight, or just know every time you tell yourself, oh man, this is not where I want to be, know that you are contributing to the problem, because it's only two teams to be a part of. Neutrality doesn't exist here. So you got to pick a side. If you're not fighting against it, if you're not bringing it up, if you're not making it ring in their ears, even if you're just passing and driving by, if you're not obstructing what they're doing, why would they ever change? And we can't even get mad at them for doing what they're doing, because like we just said, we would never get mad at somebody putting themselves first. So all I just want to say is put yourself first. Get up and put yourself first, and wake up and say, I want the best, and I'm going to accept the best, and then go out and get it. But like I said, stop waiting for people to change their behavior. This isn't a 10-year thing. This isn't a 20-year thing. Like you said, this is a 150-year issue we've been facing. So stop being surprised. Stop playing reaction, like I said, and I'm going to charge it to the people. The Buffalo Niagara Medical Campus is going to keep doing whatever they need to do to keep their bottom line good. We know this. We are aware of this. So okay, so let's make a change ourselves, and that's all I really got to say on the issue.
Hey, y'all hear that? Y'all hear that? Okay, we're gonna go to the phones and we're gonna go back to our guests. But what you just heard Austin say, look, listen, older folks, and it's an age thing, but young folks know. They know all this crap that exists. If we ain't fighting to change it, they're like, we can't complain. They're gonna do something. But I hope y'all heard it. You know, he wasn't just whistling Dixie. Caller, you on the phone. Welcome. Caller, you on. Go ahead.
Can you hear me?
Yes.
I just wanted to raise the question that we all know that Buffalo is now offering free college education to our children who go to Buffalo schools and graduate. And that a lot of people from the suburbs don't want to pay that $100,000 a year for college, so they are trying to come back into the city of Buffalo, which they abandoned. And the question is, do city of Buffalo African-American residents and residents of the east side of Buffalo, do you want to be moved out of your house? Do you want to be displaced? Or do you want to stay in your community that you've built and that you fought for, and that your parents owned their homes? Do you want to have a community? Because if you don't stand up and fight, it's called gentrification. You're going to be moved out of your own community, and other folks from the suburbs are going to get the benefits that we fought so hard for, to get free education for our kids, our children, and to rebuild our community. So I really think this is something we have to look at, stand up for, and so we're fighting for our kids. All young people should be coming, and the parents should be coming. Fight for our community to stay a minority community, an African American community, we built it. That's what I see as the issue. Fight for our community.
Well, thank you for sharing, Carla. Thank you for sharing that. You're right on the beat, and that's why the importance of March 8th is, again, March 8th is so important for our community, and it's not just talk. And everybody that's hearing, if you can, bring somebody, and if you can't, please come. I really didn't have to say please come. You ought to be there. If you're hearing this, you ought to be there. This is a moment of history you don't want to miss. This is like an OK Corral, man. I'm telling you, look, you have the opportunity for the two entities that are trying to do something in the fruit belt to sit down at the same table with the community and work this thing out. Man, this is beautiful going in. Dr. King, one of the kingdom principles is always trying to create a win-win situation. That's what kind of move this is. But don't forget now, after you create that and they kind of push that away, you have to do what you have to do. That's to be continued in another conversation. We got to have the first thing happen first.
Just so our listening audience knows this, you mentioned fighting. The bottom line for the Buffalo Niagara Medical Campus is to expand eastward. And had it not been for overseer, Pastor Michael Chapman, who sat at a table with them years ago and said, I will develop the Fruit Belt community. The Fruit Belt would be a parking lot right now. It would be paved to the ground all the way over to Jefferson. And because of his involvement and establishing the Buffalo Black Billion and other entities, we now have affordable housing that we're trying to continue. We, as I said earlier, we are the largest, we have an investment, the largest African-American investment in the medical corridor to date. And so we must stop this movement that they're continuing to try and do. They want to expand and push out. And so we've been able to establish the things that we're doing in the Buffalo Black Billion, which is to bring $1 billion of economic development, ministry, and programs in the Fruit Belt and East Buffalo community. With programming, as Elder Kapsiak has just said, at our Gethsemane network and throughout. And so if we don't come out and allow them to continue to do the things that they're doing, hey.
Well, you're right, Michael, we got a call. You got somebody here, and you caller, you're on the air.
Yes, I'm hearing what everybody's saying. If you can repeat more and more, beware, when, and why. Give the date, the place, the time, and the reason. Say that over and over again. You're talking about it, but you're not giving the specifics of when, where, and why we need to be there.
The event is this Friday at the Frank Merriweather Library from 3 o'clock to 5:45. The community forum is for the purpose of bringing parties to the table. Our organizations, the Buffalo Black Billions, the St. John Fruit Belt CDC, as well as the Buffalo Niagara Medical Campus, to have an opportunity to talk with the community about this obstruction in building this much needed affordable housing and these programs that the Buffalo Black Billion is doing in the community. And just to build off of what Trustee Norwood was saying in regard to the gentrification of the neighborhood that was basically stopped by Overseer Michael Chapman, is that the Niagara Medical Campus had a plan that was very similar to what they are riffing about with us, that they're about the straightening of the street, right? That's part of this litigation. This plan to do that, as Trustee Nora said, has been proven through many studies to have no impact on the Niagara Medical Campus. The traffic flow would not change. So there are no real issues here. And the thing that everyone needs to understand is that these are organizations that are built on integrity. We run with transparency. They don't pay to play. They are very much about doing things in order and doing things in the spirit in which they are founded upon. So we bring that spirit, and we're asking the community and our political leaders to stand with us to stop this madness, really, there's no other word for it, and begin the process of putting in place the development that our community needs. Bottom line, I don't even know how to express. So again, it's March 8th at the Frank Merriweather Library, starting at 3 o'clock in the Eva Doyle Auditorium. We'll have the community forum from 3 o'clock until 5:45. So we're asking the community to come out, hear what parties have to say. Let's talk about what the plans are and what the issues are.
Just one last question. In terms of On the Way to Friday, is there any sort of letter, email, or phone campaign that can be started on the way to Friday? This is Monday. There's a lot of days between now and Friday. Is there anything we could do, letter writing, phone calling, or emailing, that will help your effort?
Old-fashioned way, if you know what they say, if you see something, know something, hear something, tell somebody else. That's what we got to do. It's like a drum beat. The bit pass it. I mean, it's going out over the air. We know it's hitting a lot of doorways. We know a lot of people here, and now we have to cheer ourselves forward to stand in this day. See, it's our time, because we always want to look at history past. You know how that goes. Everybody went to, back then they stood up and they this and they that. That ain't what the question about what they did. Is what are we going to do in this moment of challenge? Because that's what it is. We're brilliant as anybody else. We got ideas that make the world go around as well as anybody else. And we're more loving and putting it out in the open. So to have some secret plan to occupy the land that's already occupied and to basically steal it and try and take it with some kind of false legally frame. Look, if people, this is our chance to show down. And like I said, they done okey-doked us on the stadium, and y'all know it. And they'll keep trying to do that as long as they can, as we don't stand up. But this is you talking about our hope for the community? You tell me who else got real money that's putting it into play to make a difference. You hear promises that always seem to get circumvented. They've been laying in wait, building on it, even when they were stalled. Yeah, they got a right to St. John to be mad as where the devil lives.
I'm gonna say this, and this is why I keep harping on my point why it comes to the people. Man, we need to stop playing ourselves. When Drake came to town, my grandma told me. My grandma doesn't listen to Drake, so how did she know Drake was coming to town? Because people were talking about it. If it matters, then talk about it. If you can't come, have a conversation, ask a question, be a disruptor. But we keep acting like we don't. When things matter, they matter. So make something important. Make it important. Talk about it. Bring it up at the dinner table. I teach communication. It's what I love. Every conversation I talk about involves what I talk about, my communication. Why? Because I love it. That's all I talk about, because it's important to me. If it's important, make it important, because there's no way that someone who doesn't even live in the town should have more publicity than the issues that are plaguing our community chronically. How does someone come to town for 2 days and create more of a awareness, more of a shakeup than issues that we drive by every day? You see that 33 every day. Go ask somebody about the 33 plant on the street. They don't know what it is because we don't talk about it. We want to talk about everything else that doesn't matter. We want to talk about, you like my fit. Man, what is up in our city? Why are we struggling? If there's enough money for all of us, why are people hungry? If there's enough food to go around, why are some people not eating? Because it's not important to you. So that's why I'm saying
they didn't have enough Black billion initiatives like this that save us. Because our community has been invaded and we know it. But just like the Native Americans say land back, we saying you ain't taking this. We ain't gonna have to say land back. You're just not gonna take this. And deal with the nice elements at the table talking to y'all honestly. Hey, we got some minutes, so I think your way.
Point, well, if I could see this real quick, I know that we don't say much, but I think the point that Austin's trying to make is this. The noisemakers we hear, I'm going to be honest with you. I saw you on something last week. I couldn't even tell you where it was, but I saw it. Why? Because it was an event. It was at the end of Black History Month, so it was everywhere. I'm gonna give you another example. Northland Workforce Training right now is the highlight of the recruiting. I saw 3 billboards on the way down here that showed me Northland Workforce. It'll be on the buses. And so if we want to reach the community, unfortunately, we don't read, we don't watch the news, but we watch TikTok, we watch Instagram, we watch Facebook. Not the young people, but the older people are on Facebook. But we only have a couple of people on here. I watch the numbers every week. So I don't know. I'm not discounting being on the radio is not a form, but this is only one modality. People do not pay attention to things unless they're paying attention to it. And unfortunately for us, we find out after the fact. So the Buffalo Niagara Medical Campus, they're doing a lot of things in our community to stay consistently there. They got entrepreneur things with partnerships with M&T that they just ran. They are doing all types of things in different modalities so people know who they are. So I just think that what Austin is saying, it needs to be important, but we need to get people talking about it and connecting it to their everyday lives. Concepts people can't get. They just can't. So I think that's what you were trying to say with the whole Drake and everything else. Maybe I'm wrong.
I don't even think it's that serious. Like I said, I think if it's important, like you said, if we can charge people to talk about it. An advertising campaign is great, but the reason things stay is because they become a part of our everyday life. And so I think the question that people need to answer for themselves, because that's the hard part. I can't tell you on the radio what's important to you as a listener. You got to ask yourself, what is so important that I would get up and walk to City Hall for it? And then tell yourself and understand that the same way that you want people to rally around your issues, the same way you got to rally around other issues. Like, find what's important to you and bring it to the table. But we need to create a community of people charged and who are planting trees that they may never see the shade in. To mean that we need people who are truly just focused on bettering their community for what's important to them. And I know that housing is important because we've been hearing it on every level, like you said, from federal down. Everybody wants to get on affordable housing. So if you look at your house and you don't like it, come out on March 8th. And like I said, if you can't come out, we need to start having different conversations in our city. The reason cities stay where we are, I didn't, like I said, until last week, I didn't know Buffalo was the 3rd poorest city in the country. Because we talk about everything else. Let's talk about what matters. Have at least, this is what I would charge every listener with. This is the Austin Martin, what I'm asking. Yes, come on March 8th. But can you just talk about it with one person in your life? Say, hey, man, what's your stance on housing, bro? How do you feel about affordable housing? And have a conversation. Don't shy away from difficult conversations. And like I said, let's talk about what matters.
We got another call. I guess y'all have to listen to the call. They're calling you on the air. Welcome.
I'm calling back. I got one more last thing to say.
Oh, go ahead.
The comments I just heard. I can remember when the casino was being built downtown, and there was a lot of legal action taken against the Seneca Nation. There was plenty of judge orders and injunctions and stop work. But guess what? They kept on working. So what I would say with the Buffalo Billions organization, start clearing the land, start hiring some diggers, and get the building. Thank you.
Okay, thank you for sharing. And the mic is all yours now.
The Buffalo Black Billion creates job opportunities through construction, small business, healthcare, wellness, energy efficiency, and entrepreneurial planning, entrepreneurship. This situation that we're in, to build these affordable housing, it's going to create job opportunities. Jobs. Okay, you mentioned things that are important jobs, putting some money in your pocket, being able to buy something to take care of your family. These are the kinds of things that are important. At a time in our society when we have all the crime and degradation running rampant in our cities and streets of America, there can be no greater cure or remedy to these ills than to have such opportunities as you have in this Fruit Belt community. It is time to realize and prioritize what's important to you. That's what time it is.
Yeah, like you said, what's important to you? What is important to you? If nothing important, you got to find something. What is important to you? I think that's got to be a question that's on people's mind. What is important to you? I have young people who their answer is affordable housing. If your answer is affordable housing, I'm going to send him the flyer. You need to be here. What is important to you? For me, my big one is I think trash on the streets. I think we need more trash cans. That's what's important to me. That's my personal opinion. We're mad because it's litter everywhere, but nowhere to put it. That's what's important to me. But regardless of what's important to me, something got to be important. And that's, like I said, how you create a community for change.
So an earlier caller said you're not repeating the important time and place enough. So I'll take the opportunity to remind everybody that this Friday at the Merriweather Library at 3 p.m. from 3 to 5:45 is going to be a forum to talk about, to actually bring the Buffalo Niagara Medical Campus to the table, we hope, to talk about what is the problem with clearing the path for 220 units of affordable housing to be built in our fruit belt, not your fruit belt. It belongs to the community. The medical campus sits on the fruit belt, is in the fruit belt. The fruit belt isn't in the medical campus. McCarley Garden is in the fruit belt, not on the Buffalo Niagara Medical Campus. This is community land. And in fact, just for a moment to go back in time, our founding pastor, Pastor McCarley, Bernie McCarley, had a vision that brought St. John to the corner of Michigan and Goodell, and saw the land, or saw houses and whatnot across the street, and bought that land. Our second pastor, Bennett W. Smith, built the McCarley Gardens development, and they tried to take it away from St. John and from the community, but it's just not going to happen. But we want to make it better, and we just want the obstacles to be cleared. The community needs to stand up and turn out Friday at 3 o'clock from 3 to 5:45 and make it clear this is important. This is important to our community.
And it is also important that the community come out, because we are now building on our youth. Our youth, I can't say that enough, and this is our future. If we don't educate them and embrace them today, what is going to happen tomorrow? This is something that we must do. Not that we want to do, we must do it to benefit our families and our community, so that they will be able to go to bed at night and sleep, and they're there on a full stomach, because we've taught the kids how to cultivate the land.
So just building on that, I think that, we're talking about affordable housing, but as we know, this development, this project has wide-reaching impact. I mean, we're talking about, as we've mentioned, development and opportunity for our youth, business growth, in terms of investing in our community and providing a way to invest. And this, again, is the only African-American led organization that's doing this level of investment in our community. And the practices and the obstruction that we're facing is very unique to us. It seems disparate treatment, in my opinion, because other developers who are working in the area that are connected to the Niagara Medical Campus aren't experiencing these same sort of obstructions. So the issues that we need for the community this Friday at 3 o'clock at the Merriweather Library is to come out and show their support, because this issue is not simply, it is about housing, but it's about investing in our community and supporting organizations that have, over the, as Elder Covington was saying, has been standing strong in terms of building this infrastructure for our community. Thank you.
Thank you all. Thanks, community. Tune in next week. We'll be there Friday. Merriweather Library, 3 p.m. Show up. Thank you. Man, y'all started something in this room. Y'all keep working this room up.